Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
Hello, fellow lovers of liberty. I'm Matthew Dalton.
And I'm Robert Wasmund, and welcome back to the Journalistic Revolution. In this segment of the show, we are going to discuss...
I rise today to begin to filibuster John Brennan's nomination for the CIA. Without demanding more answers from the president, the problem is we're never getting any more answers.
Rand Paul filibuster.
Yay!
Now, we want to start off by saying congratulations,
Yes.
Senator Paul. And we completely agree with your standpoint about drone strikes and American rights and human rights, really. And, yeah, golf clap. Now reality. This does nothing to change policy.
It doesn't. As much as I like the fact that what he did brought a lot of attention to what we've been saying for months now, and for almost, take the drone part out of it, just policy in general, been talking about for years. It brings a lot of attention from people we've been trying to talk to forever. So that much is good. But it doesn't change policy.
Now, they did come out with this letter, right? And in the letter, they state that no, the president cannot authorize such things. So, even though they answered this question, does it really change the policy? I mean, he can still kill Pakistani children with drones, but it's a non-issue. If they decide to kill American civilians, they're going to, and they'll justify it any way they want to at that time. But really, it begs the question, before we move on, it really begs the question, so the federal government can't kill American civilians, but what about the sheriff's department that are going to be in control of these drone programs? Anyway, so we wanted to point out, too, that we are not, for you, die-hard non-political people, we're not supporting Rand Paul. We don't support candidates per se. We support actions.
Or we don't support actions.
Or don't support actions, or against actions. And in this moment, Senator Rand Paul, you have our support and your action in the filibuster. Now, there were some, if not very little, almost a statistical anomaly of senators that stood with Senator Rand Paul in this filibuster.
About 16% is about what we should expect out of our current government. I think there was a total of 15 Republicans and 1 Democrat outside of Senator Paul. We had Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas.
Marco Rubio, who was out of breath.
Mike Lee, Republican from Utah.
Pat Toomey, Republican from Pennsylvania.
John Thune from South Dakota, Republican from South Dakota.
John Barrasso, Republican from Wyoming.
Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina.
John Cornyn, Republican from Texas.
Jerry Moran, Republican from Kansas.
Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin.
Way to go, Wisconsin, bringing in 2. Jeff Flake, Republican from Arizona.
Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky.
And Saxby Chambliss, Republican from Georgia. Now, there was 1 Democrat who decided to came out in support for Rand Paul. There were 2 Democrats actually there. The Democrat that came out in support for Rand Paul was Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, and the other Democrat that was in the crowd, Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois, which at times seemed like he was agreeing with Rand Paul, seemed like he was trying to push for an end of the filibuster.
Yeah. Speaking of ending the filibuster, we did have Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid come out with this.
I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 43. That President Obama be immediately notified of since action. The Senate resume legislative session.
I would be happy with the vote now. I've talked a lot today, but the only thing I would like is a clarification. If the President or the Attorney General will clarify that they're not going to kill non-combatants in America. But if not, I will continue to object if the administration and the Attorney General will not provide an adequate answer.
And I object.
I'm
not in position talk for the Attorney General. We'll just finish this matter tomorrow.
Of course, you saw the response that Rand Paul gave him, and that's a pretty good response. If I'm not getting an answer, then I'm going to continue to talk. And I can't disagree with him. But this is, the reason I want to show that video is because that's your liberal, push for Obamacare, gay rights Democrat right there. Mm-hmm. And he's basically asking Rand Paul to shut up and let's get the vote on. All I want to know is the answer that the attorney gave, if it's in writing, is that a legal binding contract?
They usually often are.
Yeah. I want to close this segment of Rand Paul on two things. One, again, it doesn't change much policy, since the people who are going to be in control of these programs are your sheriff's department, who regularly kill innocent people on every day. And so it doesn't really do much to change policy as far as that's concerned. And I want to leave you with this meme that I think will hit home harder than anything we could say.
Stay tuned for our next episode of the Journalistic Revolution.
News you need to be involved in.